Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Bagmen Podcast. This is episode 3. We had Mr. Beaver on for episode 2. As usual, I'm Mr. Sowers. I've got a cool little lower third thing popping out here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's nice, right?
I like that.
Stock, I've got one for you, too. It's amazing.
It.
Well, you got the French flag on yours. So welcome back, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for all the awesome comments. We had homecoming last week, and it was great to see everybody and hear all of your comments and thoughts. Really cool to see some old teachers, some old students. Homecoming is just a great time for all that stuff. And we'll talk about that later when we talk about the perfect storm. As usual, I've got Stock over to my right. There's Stock with this cool little lower third.
Ooh, did you see that?
Yeah. It says if you smell what the stock is cooking underneath it. Isn't that great?
I like that.
That's great.
That's an old callback.
That is an old callback.
Very old.
From a minute ago. So we've got a new guest this week, and we'll get to him just in a second. Mr. Stockberger, how was your weekend? You survived homecoming.
I survived homecoming. We all survived homecoming.
Thank goodness.
Weekend was very recuperative.
Right? Did you get to sleep in?
I did get to sleep in. When I got home Friday, I crashed hard.
Oh, yeah.
When I lay down on bed, it was just dead to the world. So I woke up Saturday feeling somewhat refreshed, but not totally. So I just had an easy weekend.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
We had some crazy stuff going on at homecoming. So the homecoming game, congratulations to Micah.
Congratulations, Micah.
Yeah,
She's
that's
queen.
awesome.
The juniors won the float.
Evan Norton reaction to Micah winning queen was one of my favorite things of the entire weekend. We do broadcast, my Radio TV Kids broadcast KISS 103.1 on Facebook. So we provide the video to the audio for the radio station on Facebook. And you can go see Evan's reaction, the jumping up and down. And it's just fantastic. If you haven't seen that, go check it out.
And that was after he won tennis sectionals. Too.
Yeah, what a day. What was it? 3-2. We won tennis sectionals. And we'll talk about that on Perfect Storm. We've got a lot of crazy stuff going on this week and next week, and it's just going to get hectic really fast.
It's already hectic.
We thought we were done with all that with homecoming, and now it's going to get nutty again. Today, we have a brand new, exciting guest. Mr. Anderson's here with us.
Hey, everybody.
And I got a cool little lower third for him, too.
Yay.
Okay, because that's going to be interesting to see since I can't actually see it.
Your subtitle is, it says, Mr. Anderson, cooler if you say it like the Matrix. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back.
That's great. So how was your week last week during homecoming? Hectic, I'm sure. And then how was your weekend?
Last week was really cool. It was great to see all the middle school students actually dressing up. We had a lot of kids dressed up. It seemed on Thursday we did bikers and surfers, and we had more bikers and surfers.
Oh, nice.
Some of the kids, they even brought in motorcycle helmets.
Wow.
And though they didn't actually get actual tattoos, but some of the kids actually took dry erase markers. They were tattooing themselves all up their arms. I mean, they were going all out on that.
Well, you just think they were fake.
Yeah, well, I hope that they're fake, but just because some of them, I think they misspelled some words as they were trying to write on their arm.
Oh, no regrets. Not even one letter. I love it.
But my weekend was pretty good. I actually visited some family down at campground, so I spent it out at Turkey Run and down at Rockville's Park. So
nice. That's a nice atmosphere, especially when it's without locusts, right? When the locusts aren't here, it's nice.
Yeah. Yes.
Are the trees changing down there yet?
Some of them are starting to change. Not too many, but I figure here in probably a week or two, we'll see a lot more leaves changing, and so it just makes it even more beautiful down there.
This part of Indiana is beautiful in the fall.
Oh, yes, it is.
Just gorgeous.
I would agree with that. Our trees in the front yard are changing, and it makes for a nice atmosphere. So Mr. Anderson is in the middle school here at Covington Community School Corporation. And what do you teach, Mr. Anderson?
This year is a little different than what I normally teach, because normally I'm teaching Algebra 1, I'm teaching pre-algebra, but I gave up Algebra 1. I'm now teaching 7th grade math. It's been about 3 years since I've taught 7th grade math, so I'm having to make sure that I lower my teaching because I'm not used to teaching that level of math.
Right, absolutely.
So, because as always with me, it's whenever I'm teaching math, I want to make sure I'm not teaching over their heads because then they're not getting anything out of it, and then I have to spend time reteaching it.
Exactly. That gets everybody frustrated.
So no sine and cosine?
No, we do not get
Gross.
Hey, we do not want mathematical tans yet. Okay, we save that for the high school. Okay.
Oh, forget that.
Okay.
Save that for someplace else. That is not a cool thing. All right. Anything you guys else you want to mention in rewind section here?
Well, like you said, Craig, I have had so many people tell me they've been listening, watching the podcast. They all enjoy it. I wish I could remember all your names, but since I can't, I'm not going to say anyone particular. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for commenting.
Yes, and that is really, really cool. I did want to give a couple special shout outs. They actually ate dinner with us that night. So Dave and Jeannie.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice
Yeah,
to see Dave and Jeannie. Tim and Debbie. Really cool to see you guys. And then Marilyn and Ross. I actually got to hang out with Marilyn and Ross quite a bit during the pep session down at the gazebo.
Yeah.
And Ross, as always, poignant. And I always have a great admiration, respect for people who can quote things like on the fly.
Yeah.
He's amazing at it. So as we were getting ready to part, he told me a John Maxwell quote.
Okay.
Because we were talking about kids and we were talking about this podcast. Very complimentary. Yeah, thank you for the thumb. Very complimentary. And at the end, he said this quote, and I want to read it so I don't mess it up. Where there is no hope in the future, there is no power in the present.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah,
And it just stuck with me. I wrote it down immediately. I looked for it so I could clip it for this show. I think not only like in the school atmosphere,
Yeah.
but in the neighborhood, in the state, in the country, in the world, that's really, really poignant
Yeah,
right now.
it is.
So if you don't have any hope in the future, which we're trying to mold, then there's really no power in the present. I thought that was awesome. And
Yeah.
Ross is great at that. So
You reminded me of one thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyone who saw me on Friday, you saw that I was wearing a very old Covington Trojans baseball cap. Just a quick story behind that. Do you remember Chris Bruner? Was she here when you came?
I don't. That name's not ringing.
Okay. She was a longtime middle school science teacher. Wonderful lady, absolutely beautiful lady.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And her husband, Steve, worked over at Quaker. He unfortunately got cancer and passed away. And this was his hat. And it's been sitting on a shelf for years. And she brought it to me earlier this year and said, I've just got this voice telling me that this hat belongs to you now. And so she gave it to me. And I thought, both of her boys played football. What better time to wear it than on homecoming?
Oh, absolutely. And you rocked it, Stock. You rocked that sucker. I got to see Stock at the hog roast.
Yep.
He kind of got inundated with our family, but he's part of our family. So
Thanks, Grandma Marilyn.
exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Grandma. Stock is officially part of the Sowers clan.
Yep.
And we descended on him like a horde of locusts. There's probably 20 people at that table by the time we got ready to leave. So
And me without my locust trap.
yeah, and you were first, so it was actually your table. But thanks for letting us ruin your night.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it's always a great time down at the homecoming. We get to see people you haven't seen in a long time. Got to see a bunch of former students, which is awesome. Anytime we get former students to come up and tell us, "Hey, I'm passing a class because of something I learned in your class," that's awesome. Yeah, you don't get much better than that. That's one of the reasons we do this. So, anything else you guys want to hit in the rewind section before we charge forward?
Nope, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
All right, so I've got questions. So the next section is driver's ed. So I know that Stock, you've been a part of driver's ed here at the school before, and for a long time.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Anderson is actually one of our big driver's ed people now because it's an independent company. So would you like to tell us how you guys do that now, Mr. Anderson? And then I'm going to ask Stock for some history on that.
Okay.
I work for 10 and 2, which if you don't know the company, it's owned by Mr. Court Smaltz. He's the one in charge of it, and really he kind of runs it out of his house, but at his house, that's just where you meet for the actual drives. It's only 6 in-person drives. It's one student with one driver. The actual class material is completely online and can be done at their own pace. I want to say they can only do 3 hours of the actual online material a day. And there's actually about 30 hours of work. So if you can actually get it done in 30 hours, but if you're just taking your time and you're just letting the timer run, then it will obviously take longer than 30 hours. But really, I mean, it's not that difficult with the online.
So is the online portion through the state, I'm assuming?
No, it's actually there was an actual guy that actually made the curriculum for it. He got it approved by the BMV.
Okay.
And that's kind of like one of his like big side businesses, is that he just sells out the licenses for the online material for businesses to use. I know we're not the only company that uses it.
That's really nice then. Yeah. So what is the age range for this now? When can you start driving versus when can you actually go get a license now?
As soon as you turn 15, you can actually go to the BMV. You can actually take the test, the written test, and actually get your permit. I think.
Oh, wow.
In order to do that, I think you also do have to sign up for driver's ed. And then when you go in, then that allows you to actually take the written test, get your permit. And then as soon as you have your permit, you can immediately actually start doing your drives with us.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Because it used, what was it, 15 and a half when I started stock. So what's the history on that stock? Why do we not house that at the school anymore?
Well, we used to have both the driving and the class at school.
Yeah.
And it was like that when you took driver's ed.
Exactly.
Little by little, we had kids going to outside companies. There was one in Crawfordsville that they started to go to. There's also one in Lafayette. I think that was around Sam Guerra, his year.
Yeah.
I don't think he did, but about that time, so 2009, 2010. And then the state, you say it's not the state's program. The state actually recommends students to do the online class or to do the class through the online. Once kids started to do that, we started having fewer and fewer kids sign up for it here at school. It just became not feasible, not financially sound for the school to do driver's ed anymore.
So you talked about going to Crawfordsville, and that was one of the big programs around here.
Yes.
Was that because of convenience? Because we only offered it in the summer?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's part of it, yeah.
And that's part of modern culture. Kids can't wait for anything anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I honestly do remember a lot from my driver's ed. And this is a throwback to people my age or around my age. Blood on the Highway. Do you remember the video that they used to play during driver's ed? It's called Blood on the Highway, and it was about a car wreck and all this stuff, and it was like scared straight for driver's ed, basically. But if you're around my age, you probably watched that same VHS in the cafeteria with everybody else, because that's kind of the way that it used to be done.
I'll tell you the one Zach remembers.
Oh, here we go.
Here, say it with me. You probably remember it too.
Oh, big shout out to Zach, by the way. He commented last week.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good job, Zach. Whatever. Say it with me, Craig.
Oh,
anytime is train time.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Hey, that is so true, though.
It is true.
That is true. Especially if you go to Danville a lot, you're going to be looking out for trains.
Yep. Around here, anytime is deer time.
That's fair. Yeah. Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
So big shout out to 10 and 2. 10 and 2. So where can kids sign up if they do want to get their driver's ed stuff going?
If they want to get it going, I want to say that they could just sign up through the website. There is actual, I want to say it is 10and2driving.com.
Okay.
But if it's not actually that, then it's something similar to that. I know Mr. Smalls, he can actually just give the actual website for it.
Okay, cool.
But they can sign up anytime, and unlike like with how the school used to be, 10 and 2 runs year round. So long as the road is, so long as people can drive on the road safely, then we do drives.
Hey, that reminds me of a story.
Oh boy.
You guys are going to like this. This involves Kedrick Sowers.
Uh-oh.
My father. I was in high school learning how to drive. We had an old Bonneville, an 81 Bonneville. Do you remember that car stock, the old brown Bonneville?
Oh, I do.
That I used coffee packets, instant coffee packets for air fresheners.
Oh.
We were going to a wrestling meet. I needed to cover it for, I don't know, school paper or something like that. And we get close to school. It was icy that day because it was, wrestling season in the winter. And Ked said, I'm going to show you how to drive. So we get close to the school. He's creeping up. He throws it in neutral, pumps the brakes.
This is a legitimate police officer, everyone.
Hey, this is the chief of police. Creeps up, puts it in neutral, power brakes a little bit, and we end up right in the back of a Bronco. So that was one of my early driving lessons.
Oh my gosh.
Just had to mention that. Shout out to Ked, who is now the SRO in the elementary school.
He is.
Yeah, loving it.
And doing a great job.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought you were going to tell your other driver's ed story.
When I hit the rock?
Yes.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Here's my other driver's ed story. Let's see. Who was in that group? It was John Berry was my instructor.
Yeah.
And I had Matt Lynch, who now has kids at the school, so I better be careful about what I say. This is when they were building the Casey's. Yes, kids, that's how old I am. They were building the Casey's. They had torn down Custard Corner.
See, I don't remember Custard
Oh, my
Corner.
goodness, you're missing out. And they were building Casey's. There was a giant rock in the middle of the road. We were driving in, I think it was an Impala. And instead of swerving around it, I decided I was going to straddle it, which put the oil pan out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I had to take that out to Apple and get that fixed, and we were out the rest of the day. So shout out to John Berry for not trying to strangle me after that.
Anderson, you had something happen.
Yeah, well, you mentioned a rock, and so this is a little bit of a shout out to Elizabeth Walters, former student driver, but we were actually driving to Danville one day, and this is the middle of the summer, and what's going on during the summer, but there's people mowing. And there was a guy mowing along the side of the road. We're driving by, and he runs over a rock that launches out of the mower and smashes the front windshield.
Oh, nice.
And so...
And not just a crack. It's a
Oh no, it smashed. The whole windshield got
Oh, my
spider web cracks. Thankfully with Elizabeth Walters, thankfully with Liz, that all she did was she just tensed up. And then I know she will say it differently, but I was still relatively calm, and I helped direct her over to the side of the road. Thankfully, she, like, after we stopped for a little bit, we were able to turn around and head back. But that's one of the things that's nice about driver's ed is we have a dash cam.
Yes.
Because the mowing company, Corey called the mowing company and told them, I have this on dash cam. And they're like, okay, we're not even going to contest it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we will replace the window.
So I just have to say I have it on dash cam even if I don't have one.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you can do that, but if they call your bluff, then you're out.
I better produce something. Just me running down the hallway with a GoPro. Yeah. That's where we are on that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I do have another school story that reminded me of, but we'll save that for another podcast. It's,
Do you need to write it down?
no, I vividly remember this story, so we'll save it for another one.
All right.
All right. So anything else you guys want to talk about driver's ed before we move on to the rant section? I know you have a rant ready, Stock, so
I have a rant.
I don't want to belay that any longer.
Yeah.
So
Well, it is a pretty long rant from what I see.
yeah, I think he's used all the ink on my pen. All right, Stock, we're moving to rants. This is your time. Time to shine.
Okay, well, I have to say this beforehand. I had a good rant this morning, and I can't remember what the exact rant is. I just know what it kind of is about. My rant is the state of Indiana's Department of Education.
Oh, boy.
They mess everything up, especially when it comes to testing.
Oh boy.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you don't want to give examples?
Well, we have testing. We have fall break next week.
Oh, yeah.
So essentially, we have virtual learning Monday and Tuesday. No, I'm sorry. Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
Fall break Thursday, Friday. Then we have a full week of school. And the next week, which is the last week of October, state testing. Why do you need to test these kids in the third month of school?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Is this like a baseline test then, maybe?
It's for
Or is this-
juniors and seniors.
So this is like the end of the year
This is the
test.
SAT?
Yeah.
Or-
I forget which one it is because
There's so many.
there's so
Yeah.
many.
Yeah. We need to have Mrs. Myers on
We
to
do.
explain that
We
sometime.
really do.
Yeah, because I mean, you would think it would be towards the end of the year because that way they get a full year of education under their belts.
Yeah, and you're actually
You would
testing
think.
knowledge.
yeah,
you
you
would
test
think.
knowledge.
Yeah, instead of guessing ability.
Nope.
I have pretty good guessing ability. That's how I got through my college entry math test.
Well, you know what? I mean, if it's multiple choice, I mean, if you're going to eliminate the ones that you know are not correct,
Yeah.
then you have a good guess.
Absolutely. Multiple
Oh,
guess.
I got 50% chance of getting this right.
Multiple guess is what I always called it. 'Cause, flipping a coin. Shout out to Mr. Nickel. He'll tell you a story about me taking the test. All right.
Do you have a rant yet?
Yeah, do you have a rant, Mr. Anderson?
Nothing really comes to mind or whatnot.
Stock, I have several rants, but we'll save those.
You keep saving it.
I'll save it for a day you don't have a rant.
Okay, all right.
So we may never hear them.
Oh, can I give a mini rant?
Oh my goodness, of course you can. Mr. Anderson, do you have a rant before
sorry.
we
Yeah.
pan to Mr. Stockberger?
Nothing currently comes to mind. So let's hear this mini rant.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonder Woman 84, yes, it had its problems, but it's not as bad a movie as what everyone says.
It's pretty bad.
And you're wrong. Just so you know, you're wrong.
Yeah, well, the camera's on me. So.
Now, so here's the question on that, Stock. Are you comparing that to movies that were before it or of its time, or are you comparing that to TV shows and movies now?
I'm comparing it to itself.
To itself?
Yeah.
You just like as Linda Carter was in the end.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that. I mean, she was my first and still crush. I
Hey,
suppose.
she still played a better Wonder Woman in that movie.
That I can agree with.
Yeah, she's great. She's fantastic.
I hope she's in the third one.
Oh, there's going to be a third one?
I hope.
Oh, okay. I
what do you
was
mean
like,
you
I didn't know
hope?
that they released that.
Oh my goodness. I did see the Black Panther 2 commercial today. It looked pretty good. The trailer for it. I do like Namor, so that'll be fun. So moving on from the rants, we're going to look at the perfect storm. Hey, we did have a lot of comments on your pants comment from last time. So.
Oh my gosh. That when we talk about sock, shoe, I'm bringing that up again because I got questions about that.
Yes.
You got to put your pants on, people.
I think people
sock, pants, shoe.
I think
No,
people
it's
just
pants
skip
and then
forward.
socks and shoes.
No.
I think people
No.
skip forward to that part of the video and just heard Stock talking about putting his shoes and then or his socks, then his pants, then his shoes
Oh
on.
my gosh.
I did like your explanation of the hem. It does make sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense if you can feel it.
You don't want your toes stuck in your hem.
Yeah, you don't want that. Clip that. Clip that quote right there. Wow. Somebody clip it. That's oh my goodness, that's great. All right, so we talk about the perfect storm. What is the perfect storm? The perfect storm is this week and next week.
Yes.
We have a multitude of things going on. So like Stock mentioned, we have fall break next week. So we have a full day of school on Monday.
Yep.
We have what's called a virtual day.
Virtual day.
On Tuesday and Wednesday. And we'll talk to Mr. Anderson what that looks like in the middle school here in a second.
Okay.
And then Thursday, Friday, we're supposed to have days off for our actual fall break.
Yes. But that Friday
Yes.
is senior
Is a home game for football.
home game.
Yeah.
Senior night for football.
Against Riverton Park.
Yep.
And so I guess everybody just stay here.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have big numbers on the Kiss Country stream that night from Florida or wherever. Well, Florida's destroyed now, so who knows?
Maybe Georgia.
Maybe Georgia. Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll be for a kickapoo for me because I'll be over.
Hey, there you
Oh, kickapoo. There you go.
So we've got all that happening next week, and I will come back to the virtual days. And then we've got all kinds of sectional and regional action for our sports team. So football, volleyball are still playing their season, but it seems like everybody else is in postseason now. So cross country is at South Vermilion for WRC tomorrow night at 5 o'clock, I believe. And then Saturday morning, they're at Benton Central for sectionals. So that season's getting ready to wrap up, or it's at the postseason. Soccer, boys and girls both play sectional this week.
On Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday. So the boys are at, correct me if I'm wrong, Flora Carroll.
Yep.
And the girls are at Central Catholic
Yep.
in Lafayette.
Oh, can I give a mini rant?
Everything's at Central Catholic. Is that the mini rant?
I'm originally from Kokomo, which is in Howard County, which is right next to Carroll County. Carroll drivers are the worst. Every Howard County
Shots fired.
person will tell you Carroll drivers are the worst.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm done.
Are they the worst you've ever seen? Because you're a world traveler, Stock.
Oh, they're pretty bad. They are
That
pretty
bad?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that kind of terrifies me. I'm never going to drive there now.
Yeah, all that does is make me think of it's not local, but it's Michigan because for whatever reason, I went up to Michigan over the summer and there are some sections that you come up, you cannot take a left turn. You have to go through the light to a second stoplight, do a UE, and then come back down so you can actually properly turn.
That's pure Michigan right there, baby.
Yeah, I don't get that.
What is it? Is it FedEx drivers or Postal Service drivers that can't turn
UPS.
left?
UPS.
UPS. They're not supposed to turn left.
Yeah.
Because it's quicker and easier and more fuel efficient if you turn right.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You're the math teacher, not me, Mr.
Yes, that would be 3 times.
1, 2, 3.
I
Yeah.
don't know how that's more fuel efficient.
Well,
so
because you'd have to wait at the light to turn across traffic.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, look into that. That's
Yeah,
driver's
yeah.
ed question right
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
I will look into that.
That's actually kind of cool. And then the big one is 10 is 1 sectional.
Yes.
So
yes,
that was
congratulations,
huge.
tennis.
Yes.
They were 2-2, came down to the last match, ended up winning 3-2. And the regional is going to be at Crawfordsville tomorrow night.
Okay.
So if you see this before then, go support the guys.
What time do you know?
I'm assuming 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Just that's kind of when everything starts, 4:30 or 5 o'clock. If you can, get to Crawfordsville. That's an awesome opportunity. Cheer on the guys. They probably shouldn't have won sectional. They were not favored this year, which is kind of rare for our tennis team.
They've got the best coach in the state.
They do have the best coach. Hey, the field train stops for no man.
Nope.
So all of that is going on, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic, but our kids are all involved, and we're kind of driving that forward. So we're excited to see what they can do. Hopefully bring home the first state title in some sport for Covington.
That would be nice.
Has to happen sometime.
Well, you say that. You say that. I'm wearing my Turkey Run colors. They were a tiny little school that won state.
Hey, maybe we'll be state champions in esports.
Hey, there we go. Oh, by the way, we do have esports going on. So we started last week with actual competitions. Chess starts on Tuesdays. We have a Fortnite squad. We can only there's so many people in our league for Fortnite that you can only do 3 people per school.
Okay.
So we've got 4 kids that are rotating that third spot. And we've got full teams for Fortnite. That is being streamed on Trojan Gaming. Paxton is streaming that. So he's learning how to run OBS and learning how to do all the assets and everything. And it's kind of cool to watch. Did it by his own initiative. And he's kind of building it out as we go through class. And it's really neat to see. So if you get a chance, Trojan Gaming is our 3rd channel. Paxton's going to be streaming on that. We have some playthroughs from Michael Jones as well on there. And then we have a 2nd channel, which is going to house our senior spotlight videos. There's already 3 published. Somehow Jackson has 160 some views on his already.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. I'm assuming F5, the refresh button. That's the assumption. But who knows? Who knows? But it's happening. So a lot of stuff going on. We've got the perfect storm here. So like I said, they used to be called e-learning days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now they're called virtual days.
Virtual days.
Well, there is a difference there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in the middle school, Mr. Anderson?
Okay, so the big difference between e-learning and virtual days is that e-learning, students are not required to actually get on at a specific time. E-learning, they can get on whenever throughout the day to get on, look at the assignment, and do it. Virtual days there's an actual bell schedule. They will have to actually get on, log into a Google Meet or a Zoom, and doing that, then they will attend the class for that period. I want to say the schedule that was sent out was about each class period is about 20 minutes long. And so you'll be on there, you'll interact with the teacher for 20 minutes, and they will do a lesson, they'll do review, or they'll do an assignment that you'll work on together. And then at the end of that 20 minutes, you'll get out of that virtual class and move to your next period.
3-minute passing period, I think, is what is planned.
I believe so.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
3 or 4 minutes. Yeah.
So do you have anything planned, or are you going to plan it by ear by how far your kids get?
I'm kind of playing it by ear. Yeah. I've already run through what my kids are supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I've done a practice Canvas assignment that they get on. They know, hey, here's the link for the Google Meet so that we can get all on. They can actually see what I'm going to be doing. I used a website kind of as an example, thatquiz.org. They did a few quick math problems. Then they screenshotted it. So I made sure that all my students knew how to screenshot and upload that screenshot for the results. And then that was them doing the assignment. Now, will I do that both days? Probably not. But that at least I know that they're prepared for something for those virtual days.
Right. Stock, do you have any actual rules for your virtual classes? I know dressed appropriately is a big one.
Yes. Dress appropriately. Be on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be on time. Also, students, if you're watching this, keep your Chromebooks on mute. You still have to have your face there, but keep your Chromebooks on mute unless you're answering a question. Otherwise, any noise the computer picks up, it'll jostle the system and it won't know which camera to look at.
Yeah, and that's great advice. That's one of the things I like to focus on as well, is join muted.
Yes.
Have your video on, but join muted. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat. So there's a text chat there. If nobody gets to your question, either another student or me, at a certain time, then you can hit the raise hand button and we'll go there and make sure we are aware of that.
Yep.
Treat it like a professional school day.
Yeah.
Like treat it like a regular school day and you'll be fine.
And we want to make sure that we at least have 50% student attendance, because that's the big key here. I don't know for sure, but I believe that if as a school we don't get that 50% student attendance actually getting on for every single class and being a part of the classes, that it might switch to being more of an e-learning day. Right. And we're only allowed 3 e-learning days a year. And I would rather save those e-learning days for when we actually have bad weather outside.
Yeah.
That way we can just, hey, we're going to do an e-learning day. We're not going to have to worry about using a flex day or try and come in on bad roads.
Yeah, I would rather save that for snow ice cream and snow angels. So I don't want to drive anywhere, but a little vanilla, a little sugar. You can make some homemade ice cream with that snow. Have you done that before, Stock? Have you ever made snow ice cream?
Never had snow ice cream. At least I don't think.
That was a big get in our house.
Okay.
So when it snowed, as long as you could avoid the yellow portions, snow ice cream was always a big thing. And my mom would make it in this old yellow Pyrex type bowl that she had that was probably older than all of us combined.
The big thing for us, we had, Mom would buy those 6-packs of Coca-Cola in the bottles.
Ooh, yeah.
Were they 6 or 8?
6.
Okay, 6.
Usually 6.
And when she opened one, you knew it was an event. It was a celebration.
Ooh.
And we usually had it with popcorn.
Ooh.
So
The Coke with popcorn?
yeah.
Okay.
Now, is this like homemade popcorn?
Ooh,
Well, yeah, back in the day, there were no microwaves or anything. So yeah, you pop it on the stove.
Okay, good. Because even today, yes, you could microwave popcorn, but it is far better when you can make it on the stove.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, 100%. I still get fascinated by moving the little Jiffy Pop thing on the oven. I love that. We actually bought an air popper.
Yeah.
Like an old school air popper. Orville Redenbacher. Shout out to Orville Redenbacher. He passed away several years ago.
Indiana native.
He is an Indian. I actually saw him at a Purdue football game one time.
Awesome. Wow.
He and his son were standing on the balcony. He had his old leather jacket on. How cool is that? That you still have your leather jacket from the early 1900s. And he was just chilling. But shout out to Orville Redenbacher. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
But if you want to sponsor.
If you want to sponsor us, actually, I was looking into some merch earlier today, Stock. So
that'll be
no official word on that yet, but we've got some things working. We've got some things moving.
All right.
So I'll get your idea on that later.
Okay.
Okay, that puts us to the speed round. All right, Mr. Anderson, are you ready for the speed round?
I think he's got notes.
He's got my question. He's got my question. So this is going to be more of a lesson on my memory than it is a speed round. I know question number 1 is, how did you get here? So what's your hiring story? How did you get to the Covington area? All that.
It's actually really unique in the sense that when I graduated ISU in 2012, I put applications everywhere in the state. I didn't hear back from any of them. I did not apply to Covington. So, but
Did you say 2012?
2012,
that's
yes.
a minute ago.
Yeah.
yes,
All right. Okay.
yes, I'm actually over 10 years of working here.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday I got hired, but
Doesn't seem that long.
what happened was Steve Reynolds reached out to Indiana State because he did not like any of his applications.
Sure.
And so he's like, hey, is there anybody else that doesn't have a job? Can you get them to come towards me? And so my advisor contacted me, and so I threw my resume together, sent it to Steve, and so he called me up. I want to say this all happened on Monday morning. I called him.
As is the usual hiring story.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So Monday morning is when I got contacted by my advisor. I called Steve, and then that afternoon he called me up here for an interview. Well, when I came up here for my interview, I'm, somewhat dressed appropriately. Steve is dressed in summer casual.
Steve being Steve.
Yeah, Steve being Steve. And then also sitting in there is Levi Spicer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so he was sitting in there on there. And so I did the whole interview. And the one thing that actually got me hired is that Levi, like after I left, Levi and Steve were looking at my references. And one of my references was a guy by the name of Roger Bear from Indiana State. Roger Bear at that time, he was in charge of the Baptist Collegiate Ministry at Indiana State, and Levi was a part of that. So as soon as Levi saw Roger Bear as one of my references, he's like, Steve, we need to hire this guy. If you got Roger Bear as a reference, we want him up here.
Yep.
And that's actually what got me hired. And so I spent that week looking for an apartment. And so I found my apartment Friday, which was on the south end of the school, and moved in Sunday, and then Monday was our first teacher day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it usually works.
Yeah, it was just like very quick, boom, boom, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm up here. I'm actually having to get ready for a class.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Can I add something to that story?
I would love if you added something to that story,
That
Stock.
first teacher day, you were sitting at one of the tables in the cafeteria. Meeting was over. You were just kind of sitting there on your own.
Yeah.
Paula Partizana, we love Paula.
Yeah,
She's
Absolutely.
great.
Paul, you're awesome. Be on the show.
She said to me, he looks so lonely. Let's go say hi. And so Paula and I went and introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I love about that story, Stock, is that you remember his first day. I don't remember my first day. Right? Oh, Mrs. P and Mr. P would be fun together.
would be great.
That would be really fun.
Oh my gosh.
But that's awesome. So the school got a hold of Indiana State and then got a hold of you. That's really cool. So not kind of a parallel to your story, Stock.
Ball State
Ball
kept a
State,
file of all their teacher applicants, and schools would contact them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Question number 2, I don't remember what it is. So,
Trojan Pride.
oh, you think I can see that far? That's hilarious.
Well, you have glasses on. I figured you'd be able
I
to
have
see
glasses, not telescopes. Okay. So, our second question: what does Trojan Pride mean to you?
Trojan Pride to me is actually, I'd like to think that you're wanting to actually to be a good representative of your school. If you're going to the ball games, if you're going to any sporting event or anywhere that you are actually there as a representative of Covington, you want people to actually like and actually feel like, you know what, Covington, that must be a really good school because of the attitude of the students. We want to basically, wherever we go, we want to leave a good impression on everyone else that sees us. So like whenever we go to other sporting events and we've got the student section there and the student section cheering on our team and doing it appropriately. And, you know, I mean, everyone's like, you know what, it's great to see this turnout of students because especially the away games, students don't necessarily have to go. I mean, they're not on the team. And sometimes those away games are a distance away, like maybe it's Indianapolis or something, or even up in Lafayette, but students willing to go, willing to actually have pride in their school and wanting to cheer on the athletes. That to me is an example of Trojan Pride. But I also know that there are also students that just don't like academic or don't like sports. They don't go to them, but they do still take pride in their school. They do kind of come in, they're wanting to be a part of the school, whether that is they're a part of drama, whether they're a part of band. I mean, there's a lot of things around here that students can be a part of that isn't just sports.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm always a big fan of just a positive attitude in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you show up to school, you're happy to be here, not necessarily happy for the workload, but happy to be here and then participating in everything. That's a huge part of it. Yeah. You know, I love that question, Stock. I love the Trojan Pride question because we get such a wide range of answers. And I think we're going to have a definition by the end of it.
Okay. Oh, are you taking notes? Because I'm not.
Well, it's recorded.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
that's the only way I would remember anything, honestly. The next question comes to us courtesy of Emmy Bunch, who's doing the Senior Spotlight videos on our second channel, More Than 247. What song describes you, Mr. Anderson?
I have no idea.
Right? That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a very tough one. I mean, I can always think of just songs that I enjoy listening to.
Sure.
But I don't know of an actual song that would describe me personally. So yeah, I really don't know so much about that. I just know that if it was a song that describes me, it probably would have 0 lyrics.
Ooh, I like it. So it's classical?
Yes,
I like it.
I like classical. I like a lot of not like most. I like listening to Mozart and Beethoven.
Sure.
But there are a lot of modern musicians that do not have lyrics.
Yeah.
Like I know one would be like Lindsay Sterling, which she's
awesome.
yes, she is very awesome with the violin and actually being able to do a lot of different movements while she's playing a violin. So there's a lot of musicians like that.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It's just like background music. I don't have to worry about the lyrics or what's being said. But just, like if I want a song that's wanting to pump me up, there's plenty of songs like that.
So you're saying confirmed, Mr. Anderson's into EDM. he loves that bass drop, and he likes that.
Can I say what song reminds me of Brian?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
yes, I'm
a
very
good one.
curious about this.
Let's hear this.
Anchors Away.
Oh, okay.
Okay, took me a second to actually remember that song.
Anchors away. Don't want to get caught. Can you get copyrighted from an actual like military branch song? I'm wondering. I don't know. We're gonna have to look that up. That's kind of cool, actually.
Anderson is ex-military.
Yes.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you want to speak to that a little bit? Like where you came from on that end?
Yeah. So when I joined the military mainly because I was one of those students in high school. I didn't sign up for scholarships. If I was going to college, I didn't want to do nothing but pull out loans. So I joined the Air National Guard. So this is a little shout out to the Air National Guard here in Indiana. But they came to the school. I signed up. I actually signed up the summer before my senior year of high school. And so I actually went to drill weekends because in the Air National Guard, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer. So 1 week in a month for my senior year, I'd go out there. They would help prepare me for basic. They'd run me through, this is the ranking system. This is how you do marching. This is how you keep cadence, and help me to stay in physical fitness. So that when I did go to basic that next summer, which I think it was like a few days after I graduated, I went to basic better prepared to go into the actual military.
Sure. I would say probably better prepared for life as well. So how do you think that affected your senior year?
I think like my senior year, since I was secure and knowing that I was joining the military, that was going to pay for my college. Because they covered 4 years of tuition, and I also was getting paid for it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Even in high school, that was an extra paycheck for going there through the weekend. And I'm not going to lie, I've had different branches of food, and anything related to the Air Force always has better food.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, I've seen the memes online. The Air Force does take it in the memes sometimes.
Well, a lot of
Pretty
people
funny.
do call them the chair force or whatnot.
Yes,
But
yes.
what? I'm sorry. I mean, we are the chair force because there's a lot of people we're doing work from our chairs. Because I'll be honest, I worked in IT. I was basically the help desk. It's like if you messed up your password, you'd come to me. I'd reset your password.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that helped pay for college there. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm like a lot of people. I screw around in college. And so it took me 5.5 years to graduate, but 4 of those years was covered by the military. So I only had to have a little bit of loans when I graduated, as opposed to some people that have
Right.
$60,000, $70,000 in loans.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Uncle Sam, for the college education. So a viable alternative for a lot of kids,
is.
honestly. And
We've had kids do the same thing that
Yes.
you did.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Last year we had a couple of them.
Yes, and I just heard from one of them. He's coming back soon.
Awesome.
So, yeah, very, very cool. A really awesome alternate path. Get your stuff paid for. You're not in debt the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
And you're serving your country.
Yeah. And
One way
not
or
only
the-
that, while you're serving your country, you're learning a valuable skill. Because whatever career you want to do, if you know what that is by your senior year, you can find that career in the military.
Yeah, that's huge.
I mean, from construction to IT work to whatever, medical, food industry, it's all in the military.
Yeah, you can kind of pick your own path. That's pretty
Middle school math teacher.
middle school.
Yeah, middle school math teacher.
That's pretty neat, though.
Yeah.
All right, the big question's next. Sock, sock, shoe, shoe. Sock, shoe, sock, shoe. And if you'd like to take the wrinkle in that, we had a suggestion from Ben and Woolwine last week. If you'd like to throw the tying experience into there, you can as well.
I know for me personally, my pants are on before I do socks and shoes.
Wrong.
Throwing shade at stock.
Wrong.
Throwing shade at stock.
Totally wrong.
But sock, shoe. And to be more specific, when I put my shoes on, I do not tie them. They're pre-tied, and so I just slip them on. They're loose enough that I can slip them on and never have to tie again.
Stock, I always like to imagine that you're doing like the Mr. Rogers routine in the morning. Like you change your sweater vest out and you throw the shoe over to the other hand, and that's just how I pictured it when you said that last week. I don't know why. You got cats bringing you your socks. Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. Make this happen.
They've stolen socks, but they don't bring them to me.
How is this not a Disney cartoon already?
It could be. What if they're watching right now? They're stealing ideas.
Probably. You can have it. That'd
Copyright
be an
us.
amazing movie.
Copyright us.
A little C with a circle. I like it. And then last question on the speed round. What would you like your legacy here at Covington to be? So middle school and high school, I guess, because you've done high school in the past.
Yes, I have done high school a little bit. For me personally, my legacy I would like to see is that students can understand that when you're working with math, I know that there are a lot of students that do not like math class.
I'll put myself on the camera for that one. That's me.
Yeah. But at least for when they have me, I'd like to think that the kids will always remember that I'm there trying to break down every single question. I'm not trying to go over their heads. I'm willing to take the time to actually make sure that they understand it to an extent that they're not just sitting there when it's time for homework and they're like, okay, I sat through a 40-minute class. I have no idea what we did. Because I do get that, especially when you get into the upper levels of math, that a lot of kids are like, not only do I not know what just happened, but what's the purpose of this? I mean, why have this class? It's not going to teach me anything about life. I'm not going to use this in life. And really with math, I mean, for me, I'd like to think that I'm really trying to help them develop critical thinking and actually just trying to use some common sense so that when they get to an answer, they're like, okay, this answer does not look like it makes sense. I need to double check my work. But just using some common sense, double checking your work, because even if you think you have it right, if you double check yourself, you can easily find a lot of mistakes that you might make, a lot of little mistakes.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, like I said, it's like when kids look back, I just wanted them to actually know that that they have had at least one math class where a teacher is trying to break it down and get it down to their level. Because there have been, and it's always made me feel proud of myself that I've been doing a good job when I have kids years after I've had them in class, still look back fondly on having me.
Oh, absolutely. And I heard a compliment about you earlier today. So you must be doing something right. And I think a lot of those lessons applicable to everyday life, right? Critical thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Double checking your work.
Yep.
I'm guilty of that as well. And I know I've told some of the kids this before, but I hated math through high school. I didn't take math in college other than my prerequisites that I had to take, tested out of it the day before graduation. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I learned how to code that I actually understood and appreciated math and arithmetic. And I think a lot of kids are that way now. Mm-hmm. So if you can get into STEM classes, that kind of stuff, maybe it'll spur, a love for math, a love for other content areas. So I think that's important. Yeah. I don't know if you've taken on some of that as well.
I know one other thing that I'd like to add put for my legacy is that everybody will always remember that my room is like a meat locker.
Hey, mine fluctuates between a sauna and a meat locker as well.
Yeah, I'd rather have a meat locker because I still, there are kids always, they're like, why do you have to have it so cold in here? But it's like, okay, I have some of classes after gym. I don't want to smell stinky kids.
I always tell them that I have to be here for 40, or you have to be here for 45 minutes. I have to be here all day.
Yes.
I like a cold room too.
Yes. And you can always, in the school atmosphere, you can put clothes on, but you shouldn't be taking clothes off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Stock. Just peeling that flannel last week.
Wait, what?
You had your dress-up flannel last week that you peeled before the broadcast.
Wait.
You said it was too hot.
Yeah.
What?
He's that old.
I totally am. I don't remember
it. Changed out of the flannel.
That just happened.
What flannel?
Oh my goodness, I love this.
I don't know.
I'm assuming red and black pattern. That's usually the way the flannel goes, but I'm not really sure. All right. Any last thing you guys want to talk about before we head out? Stock, I got the camera on you. I might as well start with you.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans, as always.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't even think my parents know. I've had a sore wrist for about 4 months.
Did you say you didn't think your parents knew?
I don't think they know.
What is going on?
But yesterday was the first day I've woken up in 4 months where it didn't hurt.
Oh, that's huge.
So it's almost there.
And you're going back soon to possibly think about that during fall break.
The 19th is my next check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe shedding that a cast or what would you call that?
Brace.
Restraint,
It's the
brace.
Yeah.
Brace. That's exciting.
I know.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Yeah. So Stock's parents, now you know.
Well, this is payback for them.
Payback.
Where's my camera? Mom,
You're on.
I'm pointing my finger at you guys. No, I got Dad. My dad is the hardest person to buy a gift for.
Oh,
so
okay.
He's always complained, I can't find my glasses. Where are my glasses? So I got him this hand-carved glasses stand.
Oh, nice.
And I gave it to him for Christmas.
Okay.
He opens it. Oh, it's nice. But I just had the surgery to get my eyes fixed.
Oh, you got LASIK?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
And then, what, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I get a text from my mom. Out of surgery, feeling fine. What is this? Tell me these things.
You are so far out of the loop.
I know.
Hey, maybe they're just sunglass holders now. That's what they are, right?
Yeah, that's what they can be
Right.
for.
Nice pair of sunglasses. Can't go wrong. Mr. Anderson, anything you'd like to say before we head out?
No, but I'm just glad that you guys have had me on here. It's been fun. I look forward to continuing to watch your videos. Every week.
Absolutely. And thanks everybody for coming and checking us out.
Yep.
Finish out strong. Friday is the last day of the grading period. I'm assuming all of our grades are due that next week during our fall break stuff.
Probably.
So finish strong in the first 9 weeks. For some kids who are graduating halfway through, you're halfway done with your senior year.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you're a quarter of the way done with this year already. It's flying. So hang in there. Keep working hard. Keep doing what you should be doing. And we will see you next time. All right. Later, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.